All right. Thank you very much. My name is Soyaji. I'm a technical sales engineer with Casper Technologies. And today we'll be looking at data kidnappers dealing with ransomware. This particular webinar is part of a series that I've been on for a while, bolstering your defense. And we have looked at incident response. We've looked at baseline control. We've also discussed about, protecting your frontline area threats, which we did the last time. Now we'll be looking at a very specific topic, which is ransomware. Many of us are familiar with ransomware. We hear about ransomware and ransomware attack, affecting business, causing big headache to organizations around the world. So we'll be focusing on how we can protect ourselves so we'll not be victim of an attack like ransomware, and the solution that we have to protect ourselves from an attack like this. So today, our agenda will be looking at what is ransomware. We'll be discussing the type of ransomware. What does a ransomware attack look like? The best practices that we can put in place to stop a ransomware attack. That means knowing your enemy and the key threats. Then, how can Sophos help us to mitigate these threats? Then also, lastly, we'll be looking at the top 5 tips to minimize your exposure to ransomware. Then we'll have our question and answer. Please, let's not forget, like I said earlier, let's not forget to mute our mic. And if you have any question, you can use the chat box. All the questions we'll be attending to at the end of this webinar. And the webinar will be recorded for those that are interested in having a copy of the recording and the slide that will also be shared with you. All right, when we talk about ransomware, since COVID, many companies in the world have been victim of this type of attack because of the change in the modus of operation for businesses. Many businesses have started encouraging remote working, and people start working from home, start accessing the resources in the office remotely, and these have created loopholes for threat actors to exploit and get hold of our important data. So ransomware, simply ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts our personal information or restrict access to the device while requesting for a ransom amount to get it decrypted. Just like the name ransom, they'll take what belongs to you and they'll ask for money to get your information back. We can also see ransomware is a malware that blocks access to your device or your data until your ransom is paid off. So there are 3 variations of ransomware. There are 3 major types of ransomware. There are other variants, but they have the local ransomware, we have the crypto ransomware, and the scareware ransomware. So the way it works is that for the local ransomware, your device is locked and you have to pay to have access to your device. And how do you know when you have been hit by this type of ransomware? You will not be able to, your data is still fine, your data is still intact, but you'll not just be able to access your device. So most times there'll be like a message on the screen, telling you how to go about the payments. You'll not just be able to access the system, be it your server, you won't be able to access it, depending on the device that is compromised. And usually when you have a message on the screen, you have a timer. Most times it's be counting down and you'll be getting information like you need to pay into so maybe Bitcoin wallets within this period of time, or else your data will be exposed or they'll be damaged completely. But local ransomware lock down the system that the data is, while the crypto ransomware encrypts the data or the files that you have on your device. So those data that you've saved, you just discover that you don't have access to them anymore. They've been encrypted. So that's how the crypto ransomware works, and it is very, very common. So what I advise most people that fall victim of this type of ransomware, because there are various types of crypto ransomware, there are various variants of crypto ransomware. So you need to understand, okay, the one that have hit me, what type of crypto ransomware is, what type of ransomware is it? Is it something that the decryption keys are available on the on the internet? Is it something that you know, there are some basic ones that are common that once they hit you with, you can search for, you can see the decryption key are available on it, and why there are some that are new, that are not really known, that need special methods to get them decrypted. Then we have the scareware ransomware. So this one is a tricky one. It's designed to bully users to download a malicious software. So you can get a notification on your screen that will make you panic. Then they'll give you a link to click on something to download. Once you download it, then the malware is in the account. It's in the system. So a survey was done just like 2 years ago, and this survey was carried out. To over 5,600 IT managers across 31 countries. And 66% of the people that partake in this survey said they've been hit by ransomware in the past year. You know, out of 5,600, that's about 3,800 people, thereabouts, you know, stating that they've been hit by ransomware. That's a very big number. And 65% of that 66% are saying that the attack was successful and their data were encrypted. So this to show us the success rate of this type of attack, that it is common, it is very, very rampant. The threat actors are there trying to steal the data, trying to encrypt the data, and 65% of this attack was successful. And the total, the average global cost for the remediation of this attack is running up to $1.4 million US. So this is a very big problem that IT managers across the world, you know, are facing. And it is very important for us to look at this issue, look at how we can prevent ourselves from it, and look at how we can save ourselves or our business from being part of the statistics of companies that have been hit by ransomware. So now the effect of ransomware is, you know, is widespread, and 90% of ransomware attack impacted ability to operate. We live in a very special time where most of the things we do operating our business is digital. Even production companies and factories, they all have, most of them have, you know, softwares that they use for their operation to make things work faster, to make processes work faster. And the servers that are hosting these softwares can, once they get it, then it has very, very big impact on operations. And 68% of ransomware attack, you know, causing loss of revenue and businesses. Due to the downtime, there's obviously going to be a loss in revenue and loss in business. So now we're going to look at the end-to-end chain of how a ransomware attack works, from the beginning points to the end point, just like from the egg to the larva, then caterpillar, butterfly, the process of what this a ransomware attack process from discovery stage, where the threat actor try to know who they are going to be attacking, you know, they do their research, you know, they understand the infrastructure, if it's an on-prem work load module, or if it's a cloud-based module. Then they also look at the way they can gain entry into the network. Now they've understood that this is how it works. These people, they have people that work remotely. The people, they use RDP. This is what they use. This is how we can enter. So now they try to gain entry. Now this gain entry is the way, is the process that they use to get that foothold inside the account, inside the network. Then once they get that foothold in the network, once they've been able to enter into the network, then the next thing is to, you know, establish persistence. Now the lateral movements, they just entered the network from just one user, and now they're trying to move to where they'll be able to cause the biggest damage, you know, maybe move down to the server, you know, establish their presence and get hold of the important documents that they are after. You know, once they establish presence, now they encrypt the files that they are after. So they've encrypted the file, they've stopped the end user from accessing the files that they need to do their work as usual. Then they leave the ransom notes and they wait for a response. So this is all the process. So how can we curb this? How can we stop them from, you know, gaining entry, because they'll always try to discover you, they always try to do their research, but how can we stop them, prevent them from gaining entry? Or if they gain entry, how can we, try to manage the situation, stop them from getting to the point where they are going to encrypt our file? So this is going to be the foundation of our discussion today. These are the key areas that we'll be looking at so we can get the full protection that our business needs to operate optimally. So from the past few years, most of ransomware attack, most of the means that threat actors used to gain entry into network, 64% of the time is through phishing and spam email. So you see, as simple or as regular, as common as it is, this is one of the means that threat actors exploit so much to gain entry into most network. So most ransomware attacks starts from phishing mail and spam mail. The second one on the list is poor user practice. This takes like 27%. Poor user practice. That's why we need to constantly educate the users on since do's and don'ts, both security and behavior, on how to prevent ourselves from creating these loopholes that the threat actors can exploit. Another one is weak password. Yes, 21% of attacks are caused by weak password. Open RDP access cause 20% of the attack. Then malicious websites, 14%. Then stolen user credential is 10%. So all these are most of these ways that ransomware affects network are things that we can look into and look at the way our organization can minimize them as much as possible, if it takes to educate users on best security practice, on multi-factor authentication instead of using weak passwords, and close remote access to reduce the ways that our network can be exploited. All right, so RDP, popularly known as remote desktop protocol, is a very, very common way also that threat actors use to exploit they can use to gain entry into our network, because RDP default listening port is 3389. These threat actors, they can just run a script to scan the internet to check for, open ports, using the default password. So once they get hold of those that are left open over the internet, the RDP port, they'll be able to use that as a means to exploit it to gain entry into the network. So some of the best practices to stop ransomware attack. The first one, like I said, is lockdown remote management. So you need to lock down so we're sure that our resources cannot be accessed remotely using this RDP over the internet. Then secondly, you need to have a good view of what is happening in your environment 24/7, constantly monitoring to know what is in and what is out of the environment, because attacks like an advanced persistent threat that can be in your network for months and months and months, looking for the right opportunity to cause the big damage. Attacks like that can be in the network, but once you are constantly monitoring what is going on in the environment, then you'll be at least 1 foot ahead of 1 step ahead of the threat actors, and you'll be able to manage events as soon as they come in. Then backup should be done, regularly, and backup should be done off-site and offline. Backup copy should be, offline and off-site. Yes, you need to constantly have a backup of your valuable data, and you need to keep them off-site and offline. Offline, so they cannot, move from one point to where the backup is and get it encrypted to. And you need to have this backup as early, as frequent as possible. And now you also need to You also need to review the deployment and configuration of your IT cybersecurity implementation. For every deployment that is done, there needs to be reviewed to be sure that it is done to just the way it's meant to be done. Misconfiguration is another means that threat actors can use to enter. I'll use the word enter. That's gain entry into our network, just to cause damage on the long run. So reviewing this deployment configuration is very important to know that everything is sealed properly, the policies are configured properly, not to create room for any form of attack. All right, now Sophos is providing us with a solution to stop attack from getting into your network, to secure your endpoint and protecting your server and educating on phishing techniques. So now for securing your network, we have the Sophos firewall. For securing your endpoint and your server, we have the Sophos Intercept X. And for teaching, educating us on the phish techniques, we have the Sophos Phish Threat. Please, to this point, am I clear enough? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, now we're looking at how can Sophos, help us in this issue of ransomware that we're talking of. What solution does Sophos have to provide? Now, ensuring high quality defense at every point. End-to-end security is very, very important, because it's not enough for us to protect our network and leave the endpoints open. So we need a solution that can give us full security at every point that the threat actors can look at exploiting to get into the network to encrypt our data. So we have the automatically block ransomware threat before they can be deployed. This is a proactive solution that blocks them before they can be deployed. Now, we spoke about the end-to-end stage of ransomware, the entry points, after the entry point, the lateral movement, where they'll get that foothold in the network and now get it encrypted later. So now, a solution that can block this ransomware threat before they can be deployed, before your data can be encrypted. Sophos have the Sophos endpoints, the Sophos web protection, the Sophos email, and the Sophos firewall. These Sophos products give us that automatic block of ransomware threat. Then lockdown RDP to prevent adversary from using it to gain access. We have the Sophos firewall, the extended detection and response, and the cloud. Then identify and mitigate vulnerabilities in cloud environment to prevent exploit. Yes, for those that have workload and resources on cloud, yes, they have the Sophos cloud. Then lastly, we have the provide cybersecurity awareness training and phish testing to users. So this like training as a service and phish testing also to users. So this educates users on, to give them this cybersecurity awareness and training on phish test, because we spoke about phish test being one of the major means that threat actors, use to cause this type of ransomware attack, which takes like 54% of the means that they use to attack, unlike every other possible way. So it's very important for the users to be educated as much as possible on the best practice to avoid being attacked by, be exploited by attack like phish threat. Now we have the proactive hunting of threats. It's very important for us to be proactive. We don't need to wait for us to be attacked first before we start, looking for a way out. So Sophos is giving us two solutions that can help us, proactively on trends. And the first one is the MDR, managed detection and response. Managed detection and response. The Sophos MDR is a fully managed 24/7 security service, that delivered by experts specialized in protecting your network. So this is a team of experts 24/7, specialized monitoring and protecting your response, your network. They are fully managed. So it's not something that the IT team need to do, but it's something that Sophos will help you with. So Sophos is telling you, don't worry, pay for this service and help you manage your response, help you proactively hunt, for threats, and will help you respond to incidents that can come up. And this MDR, it's managed both your endpoints, your network, and even your cloud environments. Now, the Sophos XDR, this one is managed by you. The Sophos MDR is managed by Sophos, but Sophos XDR is managed by you. But what the XDR does is that, it lets you investigate and detect threats using a threat graph, by searching for new threat and security weakness. Yes, you can also use it to help you monitor your device and fix issue remotely, and everything is managed centrally. Both your firewall, your server, your cloud, your endpoints rather, your endpoints, your server, that's the Intercept X for server, your firewall, your cloud, your email, your mobile, even your Microsoft Office 365 integrated together can be managed on one single console, the Sophos Central. So they'll give you the full reports. With the Sophos XDR, you can get a full report on security, intelligent security information across your full security estate. Also, the third one is adding your defense. With Sophos XDR, you can identify outdated and unsupported software in your system, because we all know how bad cracked software can, the type of loopholes cracked software can cause security-wise on our network. So with this XDR, you can identify those outdated software and the unsupported software in your system. And you also can check installed application against online vulnerabilities information. You can check, identify security posture weakness in registry setting. So you know this weakness, those places that you need to falsify, those places that can be exploited by these threat actors, can easily access information on all applications, including patch and information log. And lastly, identify device without cybersecurity software installed. So you can know those devices that have the Sophos endpoint clients on, you can know the ones that that have them running on and the ones that don't. So this XDR gives us, these are part of the features that XDR providing, adding our defense. So now we also need to have a very good cyber incident response plan. Now Sophos is providing us with the MTR, like I stated earlier, the managed threats, managed detection and response, the MDR, and the rapid response. Managed detection and response is the 24/7 fully managed Sophos solution that a team of Sophos engineers are constantly monitoring your environment to monitor and to respond to incidents. While the RR is it's available for people that are not even Sophos customers. So you are not using Sophos, but there is an incident, and you can reach out to Sophos using this Sophos service, rapid response service, to respond to that type of issue. So let's put it this way: the MDR is a proactive service. You put it in place, and they are there for you in case something comes in. While the RR is a reactive service, it's responding to an incident. You are not using Sophos, Gloria, it's an incident, and you need Sophos to help you with. So they are there 24/7 to come when there is an incident. But we don't need to wait for there to be an incident before we start reacting. That's why it's better for us to be proactive when dealing with an attack like ransomware. So part of the features of the Sophos endpoint is the anti-ransomware behavioral technology. The Sophos Intercept X has anti-ransomware behavioral technology. It uses this behavioral technology to analyze and to stop previously unseen ransomware using cryptographic technology. So those attacks that have not been seen before, like I stated in the beginning, there are some ransomware attacks that you can possibly get the decryption key online because they are known, and the decryption keys are everywhere on the internet. But there are some ransomware new, because these threat actors are constantly doing research, creating new type of attack that have not been seen before. So what this anti-ransomware behavioral technology is that it does not just stop attacks that are known, but even the ones that that are new. So it's analyze the behavior of this type of attack, recognize them, and deals with them accordingly. And anti-exploit capabilities. So now the second one is anti-exploit capability. There are some applications, there are some vulnerabilities that threat actors like taking advantage of, they like exploiting. So these tools are recognized, and they are how do I put it? Okay, by taking using the AI technology, so it's recognizing all these tools that can be exploited by threat actors and try to protect as much as possible. Then lastly, we have the AI-powered deep learning model. Powerful deep learning malware detection, identify and block ransomware before they run. So understanding the behavior of ransomware by when something comes into the network, quarantining it for the meantime, observing it. Then if you notice that, okay, there's something phishing about this document, this file that just come into the network, then it identifies and it blocks it from running. So these are some of the features that the Sophos endpoint protection does. Then also the Sophos XDR, trend hunting, solve IT issues. So because of the number of data that we have to deal with, sometimes it's overwhelming for IT administrators or IT managers to manage all this data at once. So this XDR gives us, help us filter those important data. It helps us make it easy for the IT team to understand the data and identify the ones that need to be treated as urgent, and also detect faster and respond faster. You can view your entire ecosystem. You can view it on one dashboard. So with this, you can have a very good view on detecting and responding, then reduce risks and filter noise. The XDR, combined with the top-rated protection, stop threats before they can become an incident. So what is the incidence time for Sophos from when a threat is, for Sophos MDR, from when a threat is detected to the response time? How long does it take for this process to go through? So for the MDR, remember I said the MDR is a fully managed by Sophos service, where the Sophos team will help us manage, will help us monitor and detect and also respond to incidents that might occur on your network. So the detection time for MDR is 1 minute, less than 1 minute. From when the attack hits the network to when it will be detected by the Sophos MDR, it takes less than 1 minute. 1 minute is maximum, while the investigation period is 25 minutes. Because, like I stated, that there are new threats that are coming up every day, zero-day attacks. These people are constantly sitting down, doing their research to come up with new attacks. So the investigation time frame for Sophos MDR is less than 25 minutes. Then the response is less than 12 minutes. So less than 12 minutes can be 2 minutes, can be 3 minutes, depending on the type of attack that it is. So we have our top 5 tips for minimizing your exposure to ransomware. How can we minimize, our network being exposed, our data being exposed, our systems being exposed to ransomware? And the first one here is we have to ensure that we have top quality defense at all points in our environment, from your network to your endpoint to your email gateway, to your mobile, depending on how your network is designed. You need to have top quality defense everywhere. It is very, very important. So we'll not give room for those exploits to take advantage of those weak links. And also, apart from putting good quality defense everywhere, we also need to, be knowledgeable about the best practice, because we can have all these things in place and a user might, be the weak link for these threat actors to take advantage of and gain entry into the network. So we need to be as sensitized as possible, not just the IT department, but everybody in the network, everybody in the organization. Now, proactive threat hunting. Proactive threat hunting is very important for an attack by ransomware, because we don't have to wait for us to be hit before we start responding. But when you have a solution in place that proactively hunts for threats and observe the behavior of things before they become an incident, this will save us a lot of time and save us, a lot of difficulty, downtime, trying to manage events or incidents when they arise. Then adding your environment. XDR is a very useful tool for this. The Sophos XDR, because of the features as stated earlier that the Sophos XDR provides, it's very important for us to have a Sophos XDR enabled solution in our environment to give us that adding environments that we need. And also, we need to have a very decent cyber incident plan. When there is an incident plan, how do we respond to it? What is our incident response plan? What is how do we use the backup that we have in place? How do we use our disaster recovery? We don't just need to panic when there is an incident, but put a very structured incident response plan on the ground so business can continue the way it should as soon as possible, and you still have time to manage the incidents and mitigate the threats. And lastly, make backup and practice restoring them. So now, it's not enough for us to just have backups, but once in a while, we need to practice restoring this backup to be sure that the thing that we're backing up, are they really the way we want them to be? Or is it the case that when there is an incident, they will not check our backup and see that the backup is not something that will give us what we want? So backup as soon as possible and practice restoring them. Once in a while, try check those things that you back up, try restoring those things that you back up, and see how easy and how fast it is and how recent the backup you get is. So yeah, we've gotten to the end of today's presentation. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening. We'll take our questions now. Thank you very much. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Toyo.
All right. Do you have any question? Is there any question so far? I'd like this to be as interactive as possible.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Okay, my name is Lawal Mohammed.
Okay.
I'm speaking from the Church Gates. What I want to ask, because actually in my environment, I'm not using Sophos. I'm using FortiGate. What is the relationship between the FortiGate and Sophos? Please, I just want the relationship function between the two.
Good morning, sir. My name is Chooks. Okay, so these are just different OEMs, which we also support. Whether it's FortiGate you are using or is Sophos you are using, you are still protecting your environment. They might have their differences or their selling point, or their little different selling points, but that will be on a one-on-one basis. If we talk to you, we'll know which is best fit for you. But there is just OEM that is different between the two of them.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah,
very
so
much.
Sophos is a company of its own. Fortinet is a company of its own, but they all do security infrastructures.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, but so another good thing about the MDR, which he mentioned, is like you are using Sophos as a security as SOC. So instead of having your SOC in-house, you have people doing your SOC for you outside your office. And because it's a global brand, there are always people awake 24/7 to protect your environment for you. And then they don't just sit to wait until you have an attack. They actually hunt for attacks once in a while in your network to make sure that you do not have any attack in your network that has not been visible. And then it can also work for every other OEM, whether you have a FortiGate in your environment, or you have a checkpoint, or you have a Trend Micro, or any OEM you have, the MDR, the Sophos MDR can still assist with the support as the SOC as a service for you. I don't know if that is clear.
Okay, yeah, it is clear. So actually what you are saying is that as I'm using FortiGate in my environment, I can still add up MDR of Soho.
Yes, yes. So the MDR is strictly, is not a product, it's SOC as a service, say your security as a service. So it's actually paying for those individuals to monitor your network for you. So for what it does for you is you do not, especially for companies that do not have enough IT staff, and then you know what is happening in the country right now. So many people, the Japa syndrome, where IT people move out of the company unannounced and all that. So it's like outsourcing your security team or your security resources to Sophos to help you handle.
Okay, no problem. I've understood. Thanks. All right.
Do we have any other question? We're almost rounding up. Okay, in the absence of no other question, Toyo, you can just round up and then let's close the session. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining. See you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. All right.